What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, of all of the Marvel characters to get canceled over at Netflix, there were two in particular fans were really hoping would carry over to the MCU, both Charlie Cox's Daredevil and Jon Bernthal's Punisher. And now, according to one source with at least a little inspiration from the success of the Joker, Marvel Studios has started fielding pitches for a film that would introduce Frank Castle to the MCU. We're going to break down what this report says and alternately a separate report about an R-rated Punisher film that we know had already been pitched to Marvel, seeing Frank Castle go up against Nick Fury with a crazy double-cross storyline. Like I said, we're going to break it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel-related stuff, including a limited edition Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So the first report actually comes from a source with not as much credit in the Marvel side of the industry, but the guy who broke that the Aladdin sequel and that the Scream movie were both in the works, both turning out to be true, is saying that Marvel Studios is now in the process of fielding pitches for the next Punisher project and also looking for a director at the same time who quote-unquote has experience handling dark material. Now, we've covered extensively here at the channel Jon Bernthal's real interest in returning to the role of Punisher if Marvel Studios is willing to do the character justice in the project, much in the way that they did during the Netflix series, establishing a very brutal, ruthless, and comic accurate Castle, but also establishing a very rated R series in the process. And while it's unclear as to whether Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige want to go down that road for any character but Deadpool, it's super important to the portrayal of Frank Castle, and we're going to circle back on that, as this report literally came 48 hours after it was revealed that the guy who scripted the remake for The Raid, Adam G. Simon, actually pitched a Punisher movie to Marvel Studios before the Netflix series had even aired, picking up where the series left off, in which Castle initially goes after Nick Fury. And this is what the writer had to say about his own vision for the film. Quote, "In my take, we find Frank Castle as we left him at the end of the series, only now completely aware of the threat that superheroes and villains pose to mankind. So, Frank has to go gunning for the person who he feels is responsible for the innumerable civilian casualties, the one who started it all by organizing these weapons of mass destruction to come together. Nick Fury. The twist is that Frank is being used, and he spots the double cross early at the end of Act 1. From that point on, we have a 310 to Yuma situation. Frank and Fury on the run from everyone, heroes and villains. It's 310 to Yuma meets Leon by the way of Winter Soldier." Now, as incredible as that film sounds, and it really does, it would really only do justice to the Jon Bernthal Punisher we already know if they keep the violence to the same level of graphicness. And for a PG-13 film that has to really limit the amount of blood and gore that it shows on screen, that would be nearly impossible. It's also very sad to me that Simon revealed this script. He must think that there's no chance of it ever getting done if he was willing to share these details, as if Marvel Studios had ever decided to circle back, well, the suspense is kind of gone now about that double cross in Act 1. Either way, if Marvel Studios chooses to do the Punisher but won't embrace a rated R take, then it's doubtful that Jon Bernthal would be willing to come back to the role, in which case they'd have to recast, and being recast so close to a fan favorite like Bernthal was for the Punisher feels like it would sour some fans in a way that Marvel Studios doesn't want to do. And then we harken back to those reports that there was mutual interest from Marvel Studios, understanding just how much the fans wanted Jon Bernthal and Charlie Cox back and how well the two did as their roles in the Netflix series. And then you think about the other projects that Marvel has coming up. Punisher isn't the only one that's going to demand a rated R rating. Other than Deadpool, one movie in particular is going to have a ton of blood in it if they're going to do it right. None other than the upcoming franchise in Blade. It could be that Marvel Studios decides for a grouping of projects that actually could very easily cross over with each other, which we're going to get to in a moment, to just go ahead and embrace the rated R rating, making the franchises that call for that sort of blood and violence much easier to do, instead of having to somehow always find a creative way to get across the violence that makes up these characters, but do it in a way that fits into the pigeonhole of PG-13. Now look, Marvel and Disney are one of the biggest, smartest companies out there, and they surely know the fact that a majority of their demographic, and in fact by proof of most of you listening to this video right now, are of rated R age, 17, 18, and older. A majority of the fan base is actually older than you'd think for these Marvel movies, as they're a bunch of comic fans from the 70s, 80s, and 90s anyway. That being said, Disney has to know that they're not going to lose a lot in the way of tickets or box office pull, but they are going to lose the fringe and family benefit of people being able to bring their kids, and that also cuts off the future generations from getting integrated into the universe by coming to the movie with their family or their parents. But still, there's an abundance of projects, now almost 8 a year it feels like, that fit into the PG-13 or even younger audience than that, and a grouping of franchises over at Marvel Studios that is going to be brutal, ruthless, and violent, that all probably call for rated R rating and easily cross over with each other in Marvel Knights. Moon Knight and Punisher surely to come, with Blade already in the universe, and of course Morbius now over at Sony, but you could easily replace that character with one of a slew. There's too many now in Marvel Studios stable that demand the sort of violence and rating R that the fans that are much older and make up a majority of the fan base are expecting to see. So my main point being that there are so many more positives by Marvel Studios deciding to take the projects that call for R rating and make them that way than trying to fit them all into PG-13, especially for a studio that already has an abundance of PG-13 material. I'm hoping that they choose to do this, and I think a lot of the fans do too, with the added bonus of getting to retain Jon Bernthal's Punisher, as he's already been established as a rated R character the way it's been portrayed, and I couldn't see it being done any other way. One final thought I'll leave you with: Bob Iger, before he stepped aside, said emphatically that they would leave the Deadpool project rated R in the MCU, even when pushed back on that and wondering why Deadpool went ahead and re-released as a PG-13 towards the end of its own release year, when a lot of people thought they were probably doing that as a test run for Disney to show that the franchise could cross over to a younger age bracket. Well, with Deadpool, it's not really a litmus test, considering he's one of the most popular Marvel characters of all time, and let's be real guys, people underage get in to see R-rated movies all the time. The real truth is though, if they're willing to do it for a franchise like Deadpool, and they run out Deadpool as the test and it does well, then the chances of them doing this for the other projects goes way up. However, and unfortunately for Moon Knight, whenever that should make its debut on Disney Plus, considering how family-oriented Disney Plus is, and unless they want to go this way, will most likely be pigeonholed into PG-13, but that's not necessarily forever. And think about this: if these characters from rated R like Deadpool and Punisher will eventually cross over into the MCU and PG-13 crossovers, especially for Blade, that could be rated R in his solo franchise and then show up as a member of the Avengers in a PG-13 movie, it could work the other way as well, where we see Moon Knight introduced in a PG-13 series on Disney Plus. And trust me, there's enough ways to do the violence for that character. I think they can get away with it outside of the sort of blood you need for the, well, all of the guns and gunshots in Punisher and all of the blood from the vampires in Blade. You can get away with this, do it PG-13, and then if Moon Knight should ever cross over into a Marvel Knights team up that is rated R, we'll get to see a more brutal Moon Knight in that. It can work both ways for the franchises if Marvel Studios is willing to do it, and for no other reason than appeasing the fans who are expecting these comic book accurate portrayals. I'm hoping Marvel Studios chooses to do so. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about all of this, specifically a Punisher movie, if you want to see Jon Bernthal back in that role, and if you expect them to go ahead and take this road with the rated R films. Let me know in the comments. I'm curious, are you guys going to be okay if they come out with a PG-13 Punisher movie, especially after we got that Frank Castle in the Netflix series? How would you feel about that? Surely Marvel Studios has to know the dichotomy there would probably be a bit of a letdown, and I'm sure that they do. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which now is at the 650,000 subscriber mark. We just gave away 2 literally 3 or 4 videos ago. All you have to do is scroll back from the channel this week. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and it'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes at the channel, like the limited edition Infinity Saga box set. We gave the first one away on New Year's Eve. The second one will be given away on the 2nd anniversary of the channel in April. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and as always, that will automatically automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes at the channel. And because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners are announced at the end of videos, and if you've missed any of the past winners, especially here real recently, no worries. All you have to do, scroll back through the channel, look for the winner announcement and the sub count in the title, click on that video and scroll to the end. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always, guys. Thanks so much for checking out the channel. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.